What would you, for example, if you were appointed to the cabinet as a non-party member, just as an advisor, what would be one or two of the first things that you would advise the British government to get on right away as quickly as possible?
Well, this is controversial in certain circles, but I would say develop our energy industries. We've got oil and gas reserves. Well, I think they're quite useful sources of reliable, relatively cheap energy that we don't have to depend on, imports from France or Russia or Saudi Arabia or whatever. If we've got these reserves, these resources, we should put money in. If a private company puts money in, fine. If nobody puts private money in, put public money in. It's so important that we have kind of energy self-reliance.
100%. I am.
Somebody else will choke our energy sources, and it's not good news. So that would be one of the very first things. Another one would be to improve our supply of water, which is not terribly clean in lots of places. We have scandalous situations where sewage is pumped into rivers and onto our beaches. That really ought to be a very top priority to prevent that happening, whatever it takes. Again, the Environment Agency doesn't do very much. The water companies, at one point, Michael Gove pointed out, 95% of the profits water companies made went to the dividends, not into investment, not into improving storm outlets, not into building new pipelines or putting new plastic pipelines inside the old pipelines. It went out of the country usually because 70% of our water companies are owned by foreign owners. So the money didn't even come and stay into our economy. It just went out the door, and that's not terribly good for us, I don't think. So that's important. Transport's another one. We do need to have better links up and down the whole country, up into Scotland and across northern England, probably across Scotland as well. I don't know very much about the Scottish transport network, I'm afraid. But in England, I had to travel recently from Lancashire to Yorkshire, and it was just appalling. The trains were like out of some kind of 50s movie, and there was a couple of carriages. It was absolutely rammed full of people, and it ran a few times a day, 2 or 3 times a day or something. How can you generate industrial growth when you can't even communicate across a very important west-east axis?